Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Today we would like to present chapter 2 forms of application software. Our group choose open source software as our topic. This presentation was prepared by Nurul Izzah Amani binti Muhammad Zubair, Nawahidah binti Muhammad Nur and Mariam binti Khalid. First of all, what is open source software? Open source software is software with source code that anyone can inspect, modify and enhance. Source code is the part of software that most computers don't ever see it. The computer programmers can manipulate to change how a piece of software, a program or application works. Software provided for use, modification and redistribution. Open source software has no restriction from the copyright holder. Usually, it can be downloaded from web server. User of open source software can modify and share their improvement with others.
How does open source software work? Open source code is usually stored in a public repository and shared publicly. Anyone can access the repository to use the code independently or contribute improvements to the design and functionality of the overall project. Open source software usually comes with a distribution license. This license includes terms that define how developers can use, study, modify, and most importantly, distribute the software. And when source code is changed, open source software must include what was altered as well as the methods involved. Depending on the license terms, the software resulting from this modification may or not be required to be made available for free.
For your information, many people use open source software on their daily basis without even realizing it. The examples of open source software are Mozilla Firefox, VLC Media Player, WordPress, Moodle and Apache.
Here we have three factors that show us a difference between open source and closed source software. First, price. Open source available for nominal or zero licensing and usage charges. Closed source cost varies based upon the scale of the software. Next, user friendliness. For the open source, typically less user friendly, but it can depend on the open source license, requires in-house expertise. For the closed source, the change request must be made to the company selling the software. This includes bug fixes, features and enhancements. Last but not least, the factors is security. For the open source code is open for review by anyone and everyone. There is a widespread theory that more eyes on the code makes it harder for bugs to survive. However, security bugs and flaws may still exist and pose significant risk. Closed source. The company distributing the software guarantees a certain level of support depending on the terms of the SLA, Service Level Agreement. Because the source code is closed for review, there can be security issues. If issues are found, the software distributor is responsible for fixing them.
Advantage of open source software have four types. First, open source software is free. Second, open source is flexible. Developers can examine how the code works and freely make changes to dysfunctional or problematic aspects of the application to better fit their needs. Third, open source is stable. The source code is publicly distributed, so users can depend on it for their project since they know the code creators cannot simply discontinue the project or let it fall into despair. And fourth, open source provides great learning opportunities for new programmers. Disadvantage of open source software have four types too. Firstly, open source can be harder to use and adapt due to difficulty setting it up and the lack of friendly user interfaces. Second, open source can pose compatibility issues. When attempting to program proprietary hardware with open source software, there is often a need for specialized drivers that are typically only available from the hardware manufacturer. Thirdly, open source software can pose stability issues. Unlike commercial software, which is fully controlled by the vendor, open source rarely contains any warranty, liability, or infringement indemnity protection. This leaves the consumer of the open source software responsible costs in maintaining compliance with legal obligation. And lastly, open source can incur unexpected costs in training users, importing data, and setting up required hardware.